Hey guys, Game Guide here with Mount&Blade Warband Persistent Worlds 4. This is a role-playing mod for Mount&Blade Warband, and I'm going to show you guys around, and I'm also going to show you my favorite server to play on. I have set it up to have a bit of money starting out, so we can have a good little time going around and checking out this mod. I have been playing this quite a lot, and the server that I'm showing you all will be the one that I play on most, and you can almost always pretty much catch me on it. I've been playing a lot of Mount&Blade Warband, and for those of you on my Steam friends list, I'm sure you can definitely see that. But nevertheless, we can get right into the mod. This is the Persistent World 4 mod screen, and obviously you can tell just from this that it is very Mount&Blade focused, and role-playing is really a fantastic thing to add into Mount&Blade Warband. I've been looking for a mod like this for quite some time, and I have to say this mod does an absolutely fantastic job. The peasant status all the way to the lord status, you can do a lot. You really can. So let's get right into it. Here's my character, but in each different server it changes because you have a different profile on each world. So we'll see how it all plays out. I'm going to show you the world that I mostly play on. This is my favorites list. But the one that I'm going to show you, the one that I always play on, is this WP test server. Now this whole mod, this whole thing, is all in its beta stage. It is not completely finished, but it is still extremely good. And another thing is this server in general is in its beta stage as well, thus it being a test server. So really, they have done a fantastic job, and it's only beta. I am very excited for the full release of this. And another thing being, with this just being a beta, they've really done a lot of map design. I don't see too much change that's going to take place between this and the official release. They've really done a fantastic job. They have a fantastic map editor, and we will jump right into it. There's nobody playing on it right now because it is still a test server. They are still trying to finish it up, but it's going to be very soon when they make that full release announcement, so that's going to be great. Anyway, here it is. Welcome to the Wolfpack PW server, and this is all the opening information that you will get on this server. They have done a really good job of basically laying out everything on this server. This is probably the greatest, I guess, explanation of the server on any of these that I've seen, so really fantastic job. This really gives new players a big hand in all this. Alright. So, this is the Red Castle opening spawn, and don't worry, this may not look like much, but if we merely go out, if you do spawn at Red Castle, all you have to do is go through this trap door, so just do that. I have seen a couple people start off at red spawn for some reason. That's just a mod glitch. That's not actually a problem with the server itself. But nevertheless, here we are at Red Castle. First up, let's take a look here. You have a bunch of different factions. You can be a commoner, which is where you guys will start out if you first jump on here. So commoners, they have a specific spawn, and really the commoner is what you want to get out of pretty quickly. Commoners are generally picked on. They will be taxed by the lords and such, and you will see me do it too, because that's just how I gain money. But then we have the outlaws, red faction, white faction, blue faction, yellow, purple, orange, black, and then all players. So they have a lot of factions in this game, and you can become a lord of any of them, so that's really nice. And also under the name, you can also see that you have the castle name. Also, once you become a lord of one of these factions, you may change its name, you may change everything about it. You may issue peace, you may issue war, and there are wars in this game, hence it being role-playing. So I really like that they've made such a big effort in putting this into a role-playing featured world, so it's really great. And I do not have enough money for that. Do I have enough money for this? No. This. Thank you. So yeah, I needed a horse to get moving here. Once you first spawn, you will be a serf. Right now I am a lancer, so I am higher up. This is probably the first class you want to get because having a horse is great. And wow, this thing can really move for being so heavily armored. I've never actually bought one of these, but there you go. In fact, before we go, I want to show you guys the castle a little bit. So, first up over here we have the armory. The armory is a very important part of any castle. The armory is where you can become a certain type of unit in a faction. So right up here, you'll see there's armor sets, there's a shield, there's like shields on the table, crossbows, and out on the back wall here, you see that there are a bunch of different items that you can train to be something with. And these are for this specific faction. The faction that owns the city or castle will train to be the type of unit for that faction. So if you want to be part of a certain faction, you want to go to their castle and train and not be here and train. But here we go. You can train to be an engineer, you can train to be a man-at-arms, you can train to be a sailor. There are actually boats in this game, which I think is just great. It's really something that most mods don't even attempt to do, but I really like how they added how you can travel from place to place by boat. There's like lighthouses on faraway islands and such. Really great feel, really great feel. You can train to be a sergeant, leave your faction, become a peasant, and really it doesn't matter where you do this. This is literally leaving your faction, going to commoners, and becoming a peasant. And then you can start all over. You do need to leave your faction that you're in order to join another faction. Unless you're a commoner, of course, but that's a different story. Then there's a lancer, which is what I am right now. On the other side of the table, we have a craftsman, a footman, crossbowman, archer, and finally the doctor. And also there's some armor here as well, very expensive armor. In fact, I'll show you right now. You can just, you know, equip stuff randomly and whatnot. Oh, I don't have enough money. Well, let's just take this helmet, for example. You can just do that. And there you go. You have it on, and you are looking very, very nice for battle. Alright, so you'll also notice that in each one of these, you're going to have a cost, and this is the price you have to pay. All the skills under it is what you are going to gain, or what it is going to go to when you choose to be that type of character. So for example, as a lancer, I have 14 strength, 14 agility, 3 iron flesh, 3 power strike, 2 power throw, 1 athletics, 6 riding, which basically means I can ride any horse in the game, and so on and so forth. So that's how this all works. And there's also another type of unit that you can become, but it's most likely never going to be in the armory. I don't think I've ever seen it be in an armory before. It's most likely out in the field, and I'll show you that. But let's get back on our horse here. And I'm actually low on money. I really expected this to be enough, which it probably will be, but yeah, definitely went quicker than I expected. Alright, let's take a look down in the city. Also, here's the world. This world is absolutely huge. This is really why I feel it's such a great role-playing mod, is look at the size of the world. It's really fantastic. This is not the only size either. There's castles way out over there in the snow. You have castles out over there. I mean, it's just kind of crazy how far you can travel and still find some adventure. Here is the city right next to Red Castle, and also every castle in every city in this game is capturable. Up there's a flag post, and in order to capture it, you need to have a banner, and you will raise it for your faction. And that is how you capture a city. So every city and castle can be captured and owned by you, and you can tax it. You can you collect all the money from everything that is bought here, and everything that is sold here and such is all counted into a money pot that is located somewhere in your city or castle. Alright, so here is the marketplace, and here is where you can buy some pretty weak armor pieces kind of thing. You can buy some pretty fancy clothes though, such as like this or whatnot. Just put on the rich outfit. So there you go. As you can see, you change outfits, and that is how you do it pretty much. You can also buy a hat, I don't know, straw hat, you know, lancer with a straw hat and a fancy outfit. It's not really normal, but there you go. You can buy a torch, and there's some really cool things that you can buy. Here is your main selling point. You're going to sell your iron ore, you're going to sell your bars, you're going to sell your silver and gold nuggets, silver and gold bars. You have pickaxes and hatchets here, and some boots. So, pretty nice stuff. And also, oop, went behind the counter. There is such a beautiful view. I mean, look at this. That's just beautiful. I don't know about you guys, but if you love Mount&Blade, you have to think this view is absolutely beautiful. I mean, just look. It's just fantastic. With the clouds and the lighthouse, this is great. Love that view. Alright, so over here you have boats. Boats are a very, very nice feature of this mod that I definitely like. And it's not even so much that you can do too much with them. It's more so the fact that they're just in here. They're in here, and that just makes them great. Because you won't see too many mods actually incorporate boats. And I like how Persistent Worlds, as a role player, really drew it in. So I like that. I accidentally went over there. That's actually pretty bad. Oh, okay, we're good. Think. Maybe. There we go. Alright, so here is the boat. I'm not going to go on it because I always seem to have an issue with getting off it, and I tend to die when anywhere near a boat or on a boat. I love boats, but they seem to kill me quite a lot. But anyway, you never know what might be on the other side of this boat path. You could have silver or something over there. You could have gold. There is gold and silver ore that can earn you a lot more money than just mining iron ore, and we'll show you money-making skills next. So let's get going. And I'm gonna skip ahead to my next location. Stupid horse. This is what happens when I go near boats. Silly me. Alright guys, so here we are in the fields, and as I promised, every time I get near a boat, or anytime I get on a boat, it always ends the same. I die. Very pitiful death. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, here we are in the fields in front of Red Castle, and I'm gonna talk generally about this server for a minute. This is where you're going to find a lot of specialized areas that you're going to need. Outside of a castle where your faction controls, there's going to be a lot of things for you to do. First off, there is stables, or anything like that. There's always a place to buy a horse, generally outside a castle or inside a castle, and in this case, there's a stable outside, and also there's a stable inside. The inside is where there are the very powerful horses. Well, out here you have, you know, the saddle horses and the cart horses, the working horses pretty much. So that is what's out here. Right now I have a saddle horse because unfortunately my horse died when I jumped in that water. But nonetheless, here's the stable, and you will always find on any server a place to buy a horse. And they definitely help with getting around the map quicker. And no matter what, there will always be one. If you don't see it, definitely ask. And there's plenty of ways to talk. On most servers, if not all, I'm not quite positive on that. T is to talk to everyone. Y is to talk about something not used in this mod. Not really sure what that is. I never use it. Q is to message players nearby. I is for your faction. And those are the main ones that you need to know. Oh, also backspace is for a administrator. And that's mostly for filing complaints and such. But I'm sure none of us will ever have to do that, because most people on here are nice. Alright, so over here is the most important part about all of this. Here is where you can train to be a serf. Whoever owns the castle will have access to serfs being trained over here. And as a peasant in the commoner faction right here, you want to become a serf as quickly as possible. Although you don't have much freedom because the Lord will pretty much tell you what to do, you can have his protection. Mostly, you will not get, I guess, falsely taxed, looted, all this other stuff by enemy lords when you are a serf, because they don't want to have the trouble of engaging in war for fighting a serf. It's just not what they want to do. Unless they're just absolutely overpowering your faction, then they won't bother with a serf. But that's why you should become a serf as quickly as possible. This serf training area will always be outside of a castle or a city on any server, and you can train for it there. Very rarely will you find it inside a castle or inside a city. Mostly it's outside, and like I said, the benefits are protection, and also it's only 150. On most servers you'll start out with at least 400, so you'll have plenty starting out to become a serf for the red faction, and it's definitely a good idea, at least in my opinion. Alright, so moving along, I'm going to show you how you can make your money. The first way is cutting down trees. So these trees here right now are not cuttable, but once we get over here, they do become cuttable because you see the cut down option. Now, in order to cut down a tree or to start mining, you have to have a hatchet for trees and a pickaxe for the mine. Now, most of the time you'll find places that will sell these nearby, or you'll have to go to a city and you can buy them from there. I showed you the pickaxes and the hatchets inside the city. But here we go. Here's a woodcutter's axe. I can't buy it right now because I don't have any money, or I just don't have the skill anyway. But you can typically find these all over the place. Next to places where you can cut down trees, you'll generally find a quick little place where you can sell branches and logs. So that's a very, very nice feature that they added in. Mining, you're not so lucky, and the reason for that is cutting down trees takes longer and is less money. But mining, in the end, it probably does take longer because you have to travel all the distance from the mine all the way back to the castle. So mining does take a really long time with the travel distance. However, you can get the ore a lot quicker. Alright, so here are the trees you can cut down. On this server in particular, you can't cut down every tree. It's only the specified trees in a certain area by the places where you can sell them. But on most servers, you're going to find that it's pretty much every tree. So it's not as picky on other servers, but I kind of like it having a specified area where the serfs can work and the peasants can work, and you know, you can tax them freely because you clearly know where they are to make money, and I kind of like that feature. The next spot that you can stop at, actually first, before we do go, here is a cart horse, and the cart horse is very useful. It actually costs more than the saddle horse, and there is a reason for that. It's very effective for traveling with iron ore back to your city to sell it, and the reason for that is it can be attached to these carts. Now if we look in the back, there we go, you can see that it has tons of slots, and you can place, well, your iron, your logs, or whatever you want in here, your gold, your silver, whatever it is. You can put it all in here, store it up, and you can travel with this cart full of materials back to the city, and you can sell in bulk. So that really does make up for that time deficit that getting iron does take. But just to make you realize the gap in between, wood generally costs on most servers around 150. On this server, I believe it's 140 or so. And iron, at least on this server, is 500 a piece. So there is definitely a very, very big gap between price, which I think is ideal because it really is a far distance to travel from way back there to the city. And another thing is, cart horses are really slow, especially with the carts on their back. Well, not on their back, but they're moving them. But I'll show you guys the mine on this server just so you know what it looks like. If you ever see rocks, make sure to go up to them, and if it does say mine, then you know you can. You do need a pickaxe to do so, though. Also, there is a fort over here, and this is pretty much the area that owns the mine, although I suppose you could get away with the castle and the city owning it as well. They could probably overtake this place very quickly, but nonetheless, over here is the mine, and it may not look like a iron ore pile, but here it is, and it's a rock pretty much. You can mine it, and you'll get iron ore from this, and you can sell it for high prices back in the city. Now, like I said, you can put all of this ore inside the back of your cart, and it's very effective at traveling long distances and selling in bulk. But that is this, and next up, I will show you guys some more of the castles, and that should wrap it up for this mod, and this server for that matter. If you guys want more of this, please let me know. I'm gonna fast forward through the rest of this video just to save on time and show you all the castles. But here is Yellow Castle, and I will leave you with me riding around aimlessly.